Picture a futuristic city emerging from the Atlantic, as if a modern-day Atlantis decided to rise and anchor itself off the coast of Africa. A skyline comparable to Manhattan, glass towers reflecting sunlight over the ocean, luxury residences beside financial headquarters, a master plan designed not only to reshape a shoreline, but to redefine an entire nation's economic future. It may sound like fiction, yet in Lagos, this vision is becoming reality. Welcome to Eco-Atlantic, a bold, multi-billion-dollar coastal metropolis rising beside Victoria Island, built on land reclaimed directly from the Atlantic Ocean. The idea was born in the early 2000s, when relentless flooding along Bar Beach threatened Lagos coastline and exposed the city's vulnerability. What began as an environmental defense strategy evolved into something far more ambitious, the construction of an entirely new urban district. By 2008, heavy machinery moved in, and the ocean itself began to retreat. Over 10 million square meters of new land were formed from sand dredged offshore. To shield this engineered peninsula from the power of the Atlantic, developers constructed an 8.5-kilometer sea defense known as the Great Wall of Lagos, a massive barrier of rock and concrete armor designed to withstand powerful storm surges. What is taking shape is not just reclaimed land, but a fully planned city divided into 10 districts. It is designed to rival major global financial hubs, with modern infrastructure embedded from the ground up, dedicated power generation, advanced fiber optic connectivity, clean water systems, structured drainage, elevated road networks. This is urban planning on a blank canvas. The engineering behind the project is staggering. Nearly 91 million cubic meters of sand have been used to form the city's foundation. Marine dredging and landfilling operations reshaped the coastline over several years, turning what was once open water into a structured grid of future avenues and skyscrapers. The vision is comprehensive. Residential towers, corporate headquarters, hotels and tourist promenades, a financial district intended to attract global capital, 2 large marinas linked by an internal waterway, a grand shopping boulevard inspired by iconic retail streets abroad. Every utility, from sewage treatment to drainage canals, is being installed with long-term sustainability in mind. The first phase introduced landmark developments, including high-rise luxury residences and a waterfront marina complex with boutiques, cafes, and leisure spaces. Later phases focus on transport infrastructure, independent power supply, and fully integrated water and waste systems, services often strained in rapidly growing megacities. Economically, the promise is immense. The city is projected to accommodate around 250,000 residents and welcome an additional 200,000 daily commuters. Supporters argue it could generate hundreds of thousands of jobs and ease Lagos' chronic housing shortage, while strengthening Nigeria's position as a financial powerhouse in Africa. Major Nigerian banks and international financial institutions have backed the project. Land values have climbed dramatically, with plots now commanding premium prices. Towers such as completed residential skyscrapers already stand against the skyline, while additional developments continue to rise. Beyond real estate, the city has begun hosting concerts, marathons, and sporting events, signaling its ambition to become not just a business district, but a lifestyle destination. Yet no megaproject is free from debate. Some nearby residents and environmental observers argue that altering the coastline has intensified erosion in surrounding areas. Critics question whether a city built on reclaimed sand can truly remain resilient against rising sea levels and increasingly volatile weather patterns. Flooding incidents in adjacent districts have fueled concerns, forcing some families to relocate. Developers maintain that the Great Wall of Lagos was engineered precisely to counter these risks, a protective shield meant to defend both the new city and the existing coastline. Stand on the shoreline at dusk, and you can feel the contrast. Behind you, the restless Atlantic. In front of you, a city rising from what was once open water. Street grids stretch across engineered ground. Cranes pivot slowly against the horizon. Concrete cores climb floor by floor, marking the outline of tomorrow's skyline. What was once a vulnerable coastline is now being reimagined as one of the most ambitious urban experiments in modern Africa. Supporters call it a turning point for Nigeria, a strategic leap designed to position the nation as a dominant financial gateway to the continent. With free trade ambitions, advanced infrastructure, and premium commercial zones, the development aims to attract multinational corporations seeking stability, security, and modern facilities. Unlike many cities that grow organically and struggle to keep pace with infrastructure demands, this one is being constructed in reverse. Utilities first, buildings second. Power lines are buried. Drainage channels are engineered to redirect stormwater efficiently. Roads are elevated above groundwater levels. Digital connectivity is integrated from the foundation upward. It is a city attempting to solve tomorrow's problems before they appear. For investors, the appeal goes beyond waterfront views. It represents entry into a controlled, master-planned economic ecosystem, one designed to operate with fewer of the disruptions that challenge older urban centers. For entrepreneurs, it offers proximity to financial institutions and emerging markets. For residents, it promises order, security, and a carefully curated lifestyle environment. But ambition carries weight. Climate scientists continue to warn that coastal cities worldwide face increasing pressure from rising sea levels and extreme weather events. Building outward into the ocean is not simply a technical challenge. It is a long-term environmental calculation. The resilience of the sea wall, the stability of reclaimed land, and the sustainability of continuous expansion will ultimately determine whether the city thrives or struggles. And then there is the broader question of accessibility. As property prices soar, some critics argue that the development risked becoming an exclusive enclave, a city for the affluent, rising beside communities still grappling with housing shortages and infrastructure gaps. Can a project of this scale uplift an entire metropolis, or will it stand apart from it? Time will answer what blueprints cannot. For now, the skyline grows taller. Investment flows in. Construction presses forward. What began as a coastal defense initiative has transformed into a symbol, a statement that Lagos intends not only to adapt, but to compete on a global stage. Zoom out even further, and the project begins to feel symbolic. Across the globe, nations are racing to redesign their coastlines, to build smarter, denser, more resilient cities in an era defined by climate pressure and explosive population growth. In that global contest, Eco-Atlantic stands as one of the boldest declarations yet from Nigeria. It sends a message that Africa's largest economy does not intend to remain on the sidelines, that Lagos is not content with overcrowded streets and strained infrastructure, that the future can be engineered, quite literally, from the ground up. Yet beneath the polished renderings and glossy investment brochures lies a deeper story, a story about risk, about scale, about belief. To reclaim land from the ocean is to challenge nature directly. It requires confidence in mathematics, in geology, in human ingenuity. Every grain of sand dredged from the seabed carries both promise and uncertainty. Every meter of sea wall must hold against forces that have shaped coastlines for centuries. And still, construction continues. Each completed tower strengthens the argument that the project is more than a vision. Each new business that sets up office space signals momentum. Roads are paved. Streetlights flicker on. The outline of a functioning city slowly replaces what once looked like a distant construction site. For young professionals in Lagos, it represents opportunity. For global investors, it represents expansion. For urban planners, it is a living experiment, a chance to observe whether master-planned coastal cities can truly deliver long-term resilience in emerging economies. But the ultimate verdict will not be delivered in headlines or promotional videos. It will come decades from now, measured in stability, economic growth, environmental durability, and social impact. Will the Great Wall hold firm as tides rise? Will infrastructure keep pace with demand? Will the city integrate seamlessly with the pulse of Lagos, or stand apart as a separate world? Megaprojects are rarely neutral. They inspire hope and skepticism in equal measure. They divide opinion. They ignite debate. And they shape history. Today, where waves once rolled uninterrupted, there is steel, glass, and ambition. A skyline drawn against the Atlantic horizon. A city that did not exist, now staking its claim. A nation testing the limits of what it can build. And perhaps that is the most powerful part of this story. Not the billions invested. Not the kilometers of reinforced shoreline. Not even the towers climbing higher each year. But the mindset behind it. Because cities are more than concrete and glass. They are declarations of intent. They reveal what a nation believes about its future. And in choosing to build outward into the Atlantic, Lagos made a statement that echoes far beyond its coastline. This is not simply about solving traffic congestion or property shortages. It is about rewriting perception. about shifting the global narrative that too often frames African megacities only through the lens of strain and scarcity. Hey, the script is different. Master-planned avenues. Financial districts mapped before the first foundation was poured. Infrastructure designed with foresight instead of reaction. It is a city conceived not from chaos, but from calculation. Yet even the boldest blueprints cannot predict everything. Economic cycles fluctuate. Political climates evolve. Climate change accelerates. What looks visionary in one decade can appear vulnerable in the next. That is the gamble inherent in every megadevelopment. But progress has always carried risk. From reclaimed land in Europe to artificial islands in Asia, humanity has repeatedly tested the boundaries between land and sea. Sometimes it succeeds spectacularly. Sometimes it struggles. Now, all eyes remain on this stretch of engineered coastline. As more residents move in, as businesses establish headquarters, as daily life replaces construction noise, the true identity of the city will emerge. It will no longer be judged by renderings or promotional figures, but by lived experience. Will families feel secure during storm season? Will entrepreneurs thrive within its financial corridors? Will the infrastructure endure under real-world pressure? These are the questions that will define its legacy. For now, the skyline reflects a sunny evening, a reminder that ambition, when paired with resources and determination, can reshape geography itself. The Atlantic still roars at the edge of the seawall. The tides still rise and fall as they always have. But where water once stretched unbroken, a metropolis now stands, daring, calculated, and unapologetically modern. History will decide whether it was an act of foresight or overreach. Until then, the cranes keep turning, the lights keep switching on, and the city born from the sea continues to write its story.